I have tried to film this video so many times and it's just totally failed because of Albert crying or some. I finally got him down to sleep. Basically, last week I put out a request to get some questions, to do a Q&A, and loads of the stuff that came back was cloth nappy related, and that was after I put up a picture of Albert in a cloth nappy because it was Real Nappy Week last week. Over the time that I've been doing this channel, so many of my questions are cloth nappy related. I get cloth nappy related questions on my old cloth nappy videos all the time, or messages or DMs and stuff like that. So it's kind of made me think about the direction of my channel, because it's making it quite clear that a lot of you guys are very much here because of the cloth nappy stuff, and I haven't really been doing many cloth nappy videos, and there is a good reason for that. As you know, our washing machine is like totally busted, and also the nappy system we use is dead basic, and I have done a whole playlist on everything, so I could redo all those playlists and all those videos again, which I may do, because some of the stuff in those videos is a bit out of date, but not all of it. That's something that I may do. If that's what you would rather I do, please say. Yeah, that's something I may look at exploring. But the content, you know, I also need to think about the direction of my channel, because it's very much not going down that route so much. Anyway, I thought I'd start today by answering basically just the questions that are related to cloth nappies. So I'm just going to go in and do those. I'm finding that the snappy fastening is getting a little bit small for the pre-folds. Do I need to use pins, or are there any other sizes? Okay, if you're in the US, then yes, there are other sizes of these snappies. These are what you use to fasten up your pre-folds, fitteds. They do size 1 and size 2. I had the same problem, but in the UK they only have size 1. I think it's size 1, and I could not for the life of me find size 2 anywhere. But I did find these, and these are boingos, and these go either side, a bit like you would safety pins. You'll get so much more life out of your pre-folds or fitteds if you use a boingo. I will try and leave the link down below. If I don't have a link down below, it's because I'm still trying to find it, because it was quite hard to hunt these down, but they are pretty much everywhere now. So leave that with me. I'll try and leave a link down below. I'm finding it difficult finding clothes that fit over my baby's cloth nappies. Are there any brands that you recommend? Any kind of organic brands that you can get, and natural brands such as Frugi, Maximora, Gecko Clothing, Jojo's as well. They all cut for cloth. H&M cuts for cloth. I don't know if there's any other high street brands out there, but H&M does cut for cloth. So your any clothes that you buy there should fit over a cloth nappy quite well. But otherwise, if it's outer clothing like trousers and things, I would just recommend buying a size bigger. If it's things like vests, you can get these. These are vest dividers, and these are really good for getting a bit more life out of your vests if it's purely a cloth nappy that's stopping the fastening at the bottom. And also, if you do fasten your vest a little bit too tight, you could end up with wicking, and wicking is obviously where the nappy's being squashed a little bit and there's a kind of moisture seeping out the side. So you won't have to worry about that with these. I'm currently using pockets and constantly getting leaks. Is there something I'm doing wrong, or any other nappy recommendations that you would suggest? I'm about to give up on cloth. Hey, this is one of these things, this constant troubleshooting with cloth. Your baby's needs are going to constantly change, and things constantly change. With pockets, the first thing I would suggest is ditching microfiber. Microfiber is a man-made fabric. It's like a sponge. It absorbs a lot, but as soon as you touch it or squeeze it, it will wick out moisture, and usually you'd use like a bamboo booster or something underneath to catch that, but sometimes even that isn't enough. So I would totally ditch microfiber. Microfiber also has after a while it will stain, and it will also smell, so you get more smells with microfiber. And when I say smells that just will not, you know, rinse out, they won't kind of leave. So I would try, if you can, to stick to any kind of organic or natural fabrics such as bamboo. This is bamboo, or hemp. This is dyed, by the way. You can use Dylon dye on your nappies, or any kind of hand dye. On your plain white nappies, you can make them any colour you like. Just so you know. Yeah, so this is a hand dyed hemp booster. So in our pockets, for example, I would probably, because I both have boys, so you'd want to double it up over at the front, maybe lay it like that, and then kind of stuff your nappies that way, and hopefully you might not get too many leaks. You don't want to overstuff them, because then you do end up with really bulky nappies, and that's not something that anyone wants to have. However, if your budget allows, then I would highly look at changing your nappy system to fitted or pre-folds. Now, although these seem a bit thinner, I find we completely changed our nappy system to just pre-folds and fitteds purely for that reason, that we were constantly getting leaks and it was driving me up the bend. I also got fed up of stuffing nappies all the time. I used to enjoy it, and then when baby number 2 came, it just got tedious and I decided I didn't need that. So there's no stuffing with pre-folds. So definitely like a 2-parter system, you probably find you'll get minimal leaks. My baby's going to be weaning soon and I'm really nervous about weaning poos. Is there anything that you can suggest to take my mind off it? I'm panicking. Okay, it's so funny reading that question because I felt the exact same thing. You're not alone. Before your baby is on solids, you can chuck any breastfed or formula fed poo. A lot of people think that's a grey area, but you can chuck formula fed poo into the washing machine or in the nappy pail, and it will literally just dissolve and wash away. It's completely water soluble. When they start food, you need to be throwing that poo down the toilet or away. You don't want it going in your machine. Now, in one of my previous how to wash cloth nappy videos, and I will leave that link down below, there is a bit in there that's slightly out of date, and that is that you can flush your flushable liners down the toilet. If you're in the UK, you cannot do that unless you're in like a new build, because our sewage systems are unable to tolerate them. New builds, I think their sewage systems are a little bit bigger, but even then I probably wouldn't, because they can clog up. They do biodegrade eventually over time, but after a long time. So I would probably only use biodegradable flushable liners when you're out and about, in which case you can then use them, put them in the little nappy bin. You don't have to worry too much about your kind of sewage at home. If you are at home, I would recommend you get a fleece liner because it will keep your baby stay dry. But also it prevents staining and it catches poo. So it kind of does a lot of things. All you need to do is get yourself some cheap fleece fabric, an old fleece blanket, something like that, cut it up into little rectangles and just line your nappies using those. When your baby does poo, and you'll find they're not pooing all the time, you know, it's only going to be maybe once, twice a day, possibly more, possibly less, and all you want to do is just hold it over the toilet and get your shower head if you can and spray it. Now that's what I do. Some people have a nappy scraper or they use tissue. I personally wouldn't go that far. I just use the shower head and just spray get it on the jet setting and just spray it down the toilet. That gets rid of everything. It doesn't take 5 minutes to do, and I put it in the nappy pail, which is right next to the toilet, so it doesn't matter if it's wet when it goes in. Some people have what's called a diaper or nappy sprayer. They have those a lot in the US. We don't have these in the UK, nor do we sell them in the UK on any of the nappy websites, because it's actually illegal to have them plumbed into our plumbing systems. I don't know why it's legal, but it is apparently. Even when I suggested it to my husband, he was like, no, there's a perfectly good shower. So he wasn't even willing to entertain the idea. He thought I was taking it a step too far, which I don't think I was, but yeah, just use the shower head. That's going to be fine. I'm currently using cloth wipes, but once baby's weaning, what do I do with the cloth wipes? How do I go about dealing with the poo on the wipe as well as the nappy? Don't go back to disposables, because you'll find that with disposables you have to use loads of them, like you end up pulling out like the whole pack. You do need quite a lot of disposable wipes to clean a pooey bum. With cloth wipes you only need 1, maybe 2, so you will save yourself quite a lot. Again, it's the same. You just use the one as neatly as you possibly can, and then just spray any kind of residue off. You don't need to get every bit of poo off, you just get the kind of most of it off. That should be more than enough. Certainly I use cloth with hands and faces at the moment, and then we just use disposable wipes when we're out and about. Don't give up on cloth just purely because of weaning. You can wipes purely because of weaning. You can just use the shower head and spray it, or dunk it in the loo and press the flush. That might do it. I'm going on holiday soon and considering taking cloth purely because they look so pretty. However, I'm unsure about washing facilities. What should I do? Okay, so when we went to Mexico with Sebastian, we took some cloth because for that very reason. They looked really pretty, and I kind of just wanted some pictures of him on the beach in his cute cloth nappy. And we did. They were cheapy pocket nappies that we use, and we did put them in the normal laundry, and they did take them away and wash them. How? I don't know. Maybe they used a ridiculously hot wash. I don't know. So if you're worried about how they're going to wash them, then perhaps don't take any of your nice special nappies, take some cheapy nappies. But one thing I would suggest is using hybrids. So that's kind of what we're using at the moment because our washing machine is busted and we don't have a washing machine right now. We do, but it's just on its last legs. We are using these Bum Genius flip inserts, disposable inserts. These are organic and biodegradable, so you can put them on the compost heap as well. But you can just use these on holiday and just put them in like so, and that's it. You just chuck away the insert unless this is soiled. That's basically what you do, and it's a really nice way of still saving the environment because these are, like I said, biodegradable, and using your pretty wraps as well. Another thing that I thought I'd suggest, as you know, you could also just take some biodegradable nappies if you're worried about the environment as well, and I wouldn't recommend using a wrap on top, but if it's the environment that you're worried about, then biodegradable nappies. These should be like every nappy should be biodegradable in my opinion. It takes 500 years for a nappy to decompose, sitting in landfill, so it's gross when I think about it. These are amazing nappies. They hold so much and they're really good, and I don't know why all nappies, or why the government haven't made it that all nappies are biodegradable. Anyway, we digress. Holding a nappy wrap leads me to my next question, and that is, I'm considering a two-parter system. Are there any particular nappy wraps that you would recommend? Yes, I would recommend, if you can get them I don't know where you're from, if you're in the US, then I'm sure you could probably get these in the US, but this is a British brand. This is Bambino Mio. I would recommend Bambino Mio because they are double gusseted. As you can see, there are other brands that are double gusseted, but it means that these are bomb proof. You're not going to get any leaks or explosions or punamis out of these. They are also Aplix fastening, so they're pretty easy to do. Sometimes you have to be careful though, because if this bit can roll down and the Aplix can get a bit scratchy on their bellies, but it depends. If it fits your baby, then great. These are really good. You can get them in size 1 and size 2 as well, and I think you can get them in one size also, which is like a birth to potty size. The next ones that I would recommend are Bum Genius flips. These are a little bit more pricier, however I really like the stretchiness of the tab. I just feel like there's kind of a lot of comfort in these. I also recently did this. These are Alva Baby cheapy China pocket nappies that I cut the centre out of to make into a wrap. They were so pretty, and because we're not using pockets anymore, I didn't want to get rid of them because they're so pretty. So I just made them into wraps. So you could even do that. And these are, again, I've had no issues with them at all. But if you are still at that newborn stage or that kind of punami stage, then definitely get something double gusseted. My nappies are coming out really hard and stiff. Is there anything I can do to soften them? I'm aware I cannot use any fabric softeners. Yes, you cannot use fabric softeners with cloth nappies because it coats the fibres and makes them not absorbent. However, you can use things like Bold 2-in-1, and the softener in that has zeolites. It's zeolite based, is it? And zeolites are they're fine for your nappies. It's clay based, so you don't have to worry about it. Will soften your nappies, but you don't have to worry about any absorbency issues. If you're finding they're coming out and they're really, really coarse when they dry, then maybe if you have a tumble dryer, put them in the tumble dryer for a short while, and that will soften them, and then you can do the rest kind of on the line or whatever. But tumble drying does really massively soften your nappies, though it's not the most economical, cost-effective way of drying them. It does make them very, very soft. You'll mainly have this issue in hard water areas, but if you perhaps add some soda crystals, I think, to soften your water, that might help a bit as well. I'm looking at doing cloth for my next baby, but I'm worried about the cost. Are there any affordable options out there? Yes, pre-folds are the most affordable options. So that's these. Now, like I said, all we use is pre-folds and wraps and these fastenings, and that's it. My whole nappy system that has clothed Albert and Sebastian, that's from birth to potty, I estimate and this is new, I estimate costs just over £50. We added it up the other day, over £50, and that will last from birth to potty, and it's about £1,000 a year, I think it is, or £1,000 per 2 years of putting a baby in a nappy. and I've basically spent 50 quid. So the actual washing cost doesn't add up to much extra, believe it or not. Pre-folds are the most cost effective way. These are Bambino Mio pre-folds, but you can get them on eBay. You can pick them up secondhand for like 50p. They are so cheap and much more the best option, I think, the most bomb-proof option, the most absorbent option. However, it all depends on what you want. I would always suggest don't go out and buy one brand, because that brand might not fit your baby. If I'd gone out and bought all tot spots for Sebastian, I would have had to have sold them within the first week. They didn't work for us at all. They don't fit. They didn't fit right. They were gaping. They didn't absorb correctly. So tot spots, sadly, as much as I love them and the way they look, do not work for us. However, other brands do. So I would suggest you go to a cloth nappy library if you have one, get a load in, different ones in, or go on the Facebook page, cloth nappy Facebook pages, and buy lots of different types in. Try them all out on your baby first and see how you go from there, rather than buy lots in. Once you find your brand that works for you, or your type that works for you, like I said, there's different types, there's hybrids, all in ones, all in twos. You might find you prefer one to the other, then go with that kind of a bit further down the line. It all depends if you want new, secondhand, if you want a brand, or if you want cheap. If you decide to go cheapy, then you might want to go to buy the eBay China cheapies. They are really cheap. So it all depends on what kind of works for you. Look on eBay, again, the local selling sites, Facebook pages. In the UK, we have loads of pre-loved Facebook cloth pages. So have a look on there as well. But it really depends. I think a whole nappy system new from birth to potty is, if you are going a brand new one and a brand, is about £400, which is, for me, is really expensive. So I wouldn't personally spend that, but you might find that's what you want to spend, in which case it's just personal preference. Final question. I'm looking at putting my boy in cloth nappies at night. Now he is potty trained in the day. What brands would you recommend? Okay, I'll leave a link down below for a how to cloth nappy a baby. This is for a baby, but it would work the same for a toddler at night. We were going to do the exact same thing, and Sebastian decided he didn't like his cloth nappy. Okay, so this is his nappy. It looks huge, and it is huge. This is a size 3, so like typically like a smaller toddler would be like a size 2. This is a size 3 for a slightly bigger toddler. I mean, it was a bit big for Sebastian, and Sebastian is nearly 3. He is a small 3-year-old, but we went big because obviously we need the absorbency at night. It comes with, like I said, it's an easy peasy bumble. I'll leave the name and link down below. It comes with a booster inside, but you will probably want to get another booster and boost it. It also is completely fleece lined, which means it's completely stay dry, and it doesn't have any fastenings. You would need a snappy, and that's better of an option because you can then get more of a customizable fit. You could use a normal wrap on top, but I prefer to use wool, and I have used wool when they've been a bit smaller. Now, wool could be it could be a knitted pair of trousers, a knitted pair of pants. It could be crocheted, or it could be this, which is kind of like, I don't know what it's called, like crushed wool, felted wool. But these are like wool longies, basically, and they are lanolized. So I'll leave a link down below how to lanolize your nappies, your nappy wraps, wool nappy wraps. Basically, you would just use the nappy and these on top, and the wee evaporates. It's an incredibly stay dry, amazing way of using cloth. You then take them off in the morning. The nappy would need to be washed, but this can just go out and be aired, and then you would just only need to wash it once a week. It sounds vile and disgusting and really gross, but trust me when I tell you, it's like magic. It works somehow. It kind of works the same way like sheep's wool does, you know, like how they stay out in the rain and then it just, you know, protects their skin and they don't get wet. I don't know, but it's that same concept. And yeah, the wee will literally just evaporate. It's mad. I don't understand how it works, but it does. It's also antibacterial and antifungal. It has antibacterial and antifungal properties. You could also use fleece. These are fleece pants. Sebastian used to wear these out and about on a really hot summer's day, and these are really good as well, but you will get a bit more stink out of these, and that's purely because they're a man-made fibre. That is all. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted talking about cloth. I've actually got a really bad headache talking about cloth. Someone mentioned as well recently, like, if I'm going to do another cloth nappy storage video. But that there is my cloth nappy storage. That's all we're using right now. It's the Raskoff. I'll leave it down below. I have done a cloth nappy storage on that. It hasn't really changed much, so I'll leave that down below. But that is a really good way of storing your nappies. And I think because I've done so many cloth nappy storage videos, people keep asking me like if I'm going to do another one. But that is all our storages right now. It's a bit boring. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this video. Please click like, and if there's any more questions, please ask me. I will see you guys soon. Bye.